Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Ask Engineer, our live weekly electronic show we do every week, and we have for like over a decade, here from the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan. The location's moved, but we haven't. Still Manhattan. Me, Lady Ada, Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. Got an exciting show for you tonight. All sorts of new products, new news, guides, open source hardware, top secrets. It's going to be a little bit of a party. I know it's a summer, it's a little slow, but we're still rocking out. So what's on tonight's show, Mr. Lady Ada?
On tonight's show, the code is Ruby Laser, 10% off in the store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, except for gift certificates and Adabox. So save 10% off before you check out tonight and support us. An open source hardware company in New York City. We manufacture stuff, we make stuff, we write the code, we pay people, and all those things. We've managed to survive without loans and venture capital because eventually some of you purchase something, so please purchase something, but don't forget, you can save 10%.
Wow.
At least for tonight.
So you save money while spending money.
Show and tell people around the world, sharing the projects. Got a bunch of great stuff. Packed in a mailbag. I'll stop by. We'll read your letters, posts, and more to us. Time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers, and more. Current events. Made in New York City. Factory footage. 3D printing. Some stuff from Noah and Pedro. We've got some new products. We have a top secret this week. It's exciting. And we'll answer your questions. And we'll do that in Discord. And to do that, you should go to adafruit.it/discord. That gets you there.
Make an account now, and by the time we get starting to do questions, you'll totally be set up. You'll have your like emoticons and your emojis and your
home of 7,000 people, 7,000 plus humans. And at the end, we'll give away something, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
That's what we're doing here.
Okay, Lady Ada.
Okay.
So first up, when folks add stuff to their cart, they can get free things when we have stuff in stock. Right now we have the UPS and we have the Permaprotos.
Yep, we don't have circuit playgrounds right now, but we will soon.
Yeah, we keep selling a bunch of them.
We sell out a lot, but we're going to get more soon. But as you check out, you will be told what freebies are available. Yeah. At $99 or more, you'll get a free Permaproto half-size breadboard. Super handy PCB for taking your projects from breadboard to a more permanent state, thus the Perma in Permaproto. $199 or more, get free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. That's good quality ground shipping, and again, the lower 48, and you'll get it when the tracking number says it's going to ship, and it actually shows up on time, and it's like well taken care of. Not postal. Postal's okay, but this is UPS. Good stuff. And then when we have them $299 or more, Circuit Playground Express, our all-in-one learning platform. Again, I think we're out of stock right now, but as you check out, see what's available. And at every level, you get all the previous things as well. Wow. That's
okay.
Nice.
And then for shipping options, we suggest UPS Ground in the U.S.
Suggested.
Trackable, and it usually always shows up. Postal, not as reliable, and it disappears.
Available.
Yeah. And then DHL for international sales through customs and more.
Great for international. So you have a wide selection.
Yep. And in Manhattan, if you are checking out before 11 a.m., we have same-day shipping. Okay, Lady Ada, we have a show and tell. We do this every single week. People around the world show and share their projects. What's cool is folks, they'll work on something, they'll go away for a while, they'll come back, they'll show updates, they'll work on different stuff. It's
I like it. They see some of the people come around like,
community
it's
of
a
makers.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the longest running, largest show and tell in the world that I know of.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, turns out.
And we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it turns out people actually have a lot of stuff to share. They just need a place to do it.
They do. Okay, so we had a bunch of Adafruit folks. Let's go through those people first. Colin. Oh, wait, hold on. Show and tell.
Yeah, that's fine. Keep going.
Colin Cunningham from Adafruit showed off the Adafruit AR, augmented reality app, will be in the App Store very soon for those of you running iOS. Don't have an Android version yet. Something we're thinking about. Started with ARKit because it was really easy to get going. So check that out if you are running iOS. I think you need the latest versions of iOS and some later hardware, but you'll be able to get our app for free. JP showed off this week's guide that he wrote. It's a flashing zoetrope. It's like a person's vision zoetrope demo. I showed that live as well. And then he's got a show tomorrow. Going to be doing some Cricut project, something cool. Tune in. And also this Friday, there's the AdaBox 008 unboxing. So if you've got your AdaBox 008, or you're getting one and you want to watch it live while JP goes through the process of unboxing, even if you didn't get an AdaBox, maybe you see what you missed out on. Check that out on Friday. Now we got a post on the blog about that as well, so put that on your calendar. Noah and Pedro showed off this week's 3D Hangouts project. It's a 3D printed mount for Cricut with different attachable add-ons. So you can put your Cricut board on a tripod or attach batteries. You got this cool snap fit system. Very handy if you have a Cricut. You want to attach it to something more permanently. I mean, it's got mounting holes, but maybe you want something like elegant. Check out the 3D printed mount. It's an easy print. Scott got a Commodore 64 at the thrift store. He'll be taking it apart. He doesn't know if it works, but he's interested in retro gaming, and it's his birthday soon. Dan is showed up to announce 3.00 of CircuitPython. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but that's an official announcement. Dan says so, and that is true. Joseph has a Kickstarter for raising some money. He's known as the 3D printing professor, and he designed a whole bunch of low poly dinosaurs. These are really adorable dinosaurs, all sorts of types, from T-Rexes to velociraptors to...
And the way they're set up is you print them, you don't need supports.
Megalodons, yeah. So he made them
neat.
easy to print. Almost any printer can do them. No supports, almost any material. And as people donate more money to the Kickstarter, they can suggest more dinos, their favorite dinosaur. Everyone's got their own favorite dinosaur, Ankylosaurus, for example. And he will design those and put them files up. So check out that Kickstarter and check out the low poly dinos. Sophie is designing a wearable with movable cardboard fans, maybe on a helmet or maybe on like the chest plate, and she's using a Cricut Circuit Playground Express to control the motion of these fans. So she's kind of like, I've never really done moving stuff before, but she's really into wearables. This is a good way, using Cricut. It's a great way to experiment and learn about how to make movable stuff really easily in CircuitPython or MakeCode. Trixabella made a GPS logger with Feather that even alerts when the battery is low. So that's really handy. It runs for a couple of days, but then I will let you know when it's time to change the battery. Indie Guitar designed and printed out some terrain tiles for Dungeons and Dragons. Instead of just drawing on paper or just telling people, verbally what the town or the dungeon looks like, these pieces and parts, they're magnetic and they fit together. And there's dungeon tiles and town tiles and castle tiles and like monster tiles, and you can fit them together to make a custom design for every campaign. So that looks like a really great improvement for D&D, and that's the show and tell.
Okay. All participants on the show and tell get an asset on the show and tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com. We also been sending digital ones out because people have a lot of digital projects. And if you weren't on the show and tell this week, that's okay. Stop by next week, 7:30 p.m. We do this every single week.
Every week.
As part of our Adafruit live series of shows, JP has his show tomorrow, and then we have an AdaBox unboxing on Friday. But here's a preview and more from JP's
last week. Yeah, this is last
latest.
week.
Yeah,
and this guide.
And this guide that's just out right now. So we're going to do a video recap. Take it away, JP. Mailbag. Packet stops by every single week here, and also
Hi, it's
at
Packet.
our weekly meeting called State of the Fruit.
Mailbag.
Here is this week's one. This was
Okay.
from a forum because we have so many that we queue up. So this is from a little while ago, but we always get to them. This is from Fire Engine. Hi guys. I've been on your site for a few days watching videos and learning all of this about the stuff. I ordered NeoPixel kit so my 8-year-old daughter and I could sew some LEDs onto a hoodie and teach her a bit about electronics. A good starter project. We recently watched the Kid Channel videos and my 8-year-old and I love them. Love the video making lemons into batteries. It was fantastic. We wanted to say hi to Lady Ada. Hi, Lady Ada. And thank you for creating such a wonderful and educational content. My 8-year-old and 6-year-old girls have a wonderful female mentor to watch online and learn from. I am also learning as well. So it's been fun for all of us.
That's the goal.
Fire Legend. So there we go. Yeah, our kids.
The videos are for adults.
Yeah, we do that so the parents have something to do too.
That's right.
So that one was
B is for battery.
B is for battery, and we showed how to make a lemon battery. Really easy project. And Adabot and Lady Ada make a lemon battery using a copper penny and
a nail.
that's galvanized.
And we light up an LED.
Light up an LED. Cool project to do anytime.
Yeah.
Okay. CircuitPython news.
Oh boy.
Big news.
What's funny is it's big news, but it's also not big news.
Well,
that's the best part.
like Dan said in the show and tell, CircuitPython is code plus community. Some of us write code, some of us are in community. There's lots of testing, lots of kind of live as it happens. So
People building
3.0
projects.
is out.
It's official.
Yeah.
We did the alpha. We did the beta. We did release candidate 1. I think we did release candidate 2. We're done. We're at 3.00. So far, so good. If you are using CircuitPython, please upgrade. 3.00 has a lot of improvements. So, the audio API changed a little bit, but it got a lot better. You can now pause audio. The heap is managed a lot nicer, so you have more space. So if you're running memory errors, you're going to have fewer memory errors in 3.0 if you're running out of memory on some smaller boards. Just all around better M4 support. M0 support's still there. Everything that was supported is still supported in 3.0. We've added support for the M4 boards, and M0 support has again improved. So you're running CircuitPython? Update. Just go into your bootloader mode, drag on the new CircuitPython runtime. Your files are just going to stay on the disk drive. You make a backup. It's always good to make a backup, but the little disk drive doesn't get changed, and your code will be the better for it. And you'll help us. If there are any bugs, there were bugs in 2X. They're probably fixed in 3.0, so it's another good reason that there's been not only improvements, but many fixes that work their way into 3.0. So yeah, now is a great time to move. We're released. And we had a very long alpha, beta, and release candidate period, so we're very confident.
Yeah, and this one is battle tested also with Cricut, our new robotics platform.
It's super battle tested.
Yeah, so if you're looking to get started with electronics or get started with hardware, and a little bit of Python, or you want to learn Python, this is the best time to start. You can do very quick iterations and not get frustrated. We have, and we'll talk about that in a bit, your philosophy that you went with for a robotics platform wouldn't have been possible unless we had something like CircuitPython.
No, it's essential. It all kind of comes together.
Yeah. And speaking of, and we didn't time this at all, but Mu is now in beta 17. Mu is our favorite Python editor.
It's making its way to 1.0. I mean, he really wants to make it. If it's 1.0, he's gonna. The 1.0 is the hardest release, right? Because it means you're ready for.
So if you
everybody.
go to
Code with Mu.
Yeah, there's code with .mu and made with .mu. Take a look. This is just some bug fixes. Next week I think is 1.0, and this is pretty much the best beginner editor, or it's even becoming like our only editor for CircuitPython.
I use it all the time, yeah.
And so some
it's
of the
great.
features.
The REPL's great. There's the plotter. And now has better support for microbit. That's the big change. I think they've updated the microbit support a bunch.
Yeah, so here's a, you can check out Made with Mu, but some of the things. Major rewrite on how MicroPython code is flashed on the BBC microbit. They want some help with that. Latest and greatest version of MicroPython for the BBC microbit. Updates Python visual debugger. Protection from shadow modules. Simple yet remarkable find and replace. That's kind of a big deal. Talking of hotkeys, you can highlight and it'll be toggled between commented and uncommented. It has been updated to use the latest version of Qt as a GUI framework.
Yay.
And plenty of minor bug fixes, tidy up bugs.
The next release will be the release candidate, and then they'll do the release. So this is the last beta before release candidate. Especially if you're using, CircuitPython use it. If you're using microbit, especially, please check this out and give them feedback. It's kind of the best editor for microbit and CircuitPython. So we want to make sure this is as good as possible. And as of the last release, it's super easy to install on Windows and Mac. There's now executables. You don't have to install from the command line anymore. You can now download an executable and double-click it to install. So it's only gotten better and easier.
Yep.
Definitely on the road to 1.0 there. So look at us all releasing hardware and software.
Yep. And if you're having a hard time keeping up with all this stuff, no problem. Go to adafruitdaily.com. That's our spam-free newsletter site. And this has Python for microcontrollers, electronic tips, wearables, maker business.
We have we also have some Python news in the MicroPython CircuitPython newsletter.
So that's where we put everything. And
it's a wrap up. I mean, like
every week
watch the show, but there has even more.
Yeah, and we cover all sorts of things like anytime Python is touching hardware, we try to cover that. So there's like, Python for Alexa or voice devices. We have news from the world of MicroPython, the world from CircuitPython, the world of just
new
Python.
New guides, new projects. Yeah. Stuff that might not make it necessarily to the blog or to the shows just because there's so much going on. It's bonkers. But the newsletter will cover it, so please subscribe.
And you can also check out our awesome list, and it's a list of all these CircuitPython resources. So speaking of, we have a new video. Again, we didn't time all this stuff, but it worked out. We have a Circuit Playground video that talks about all the things you can do at Circuit Playground, which includes CircuitPython.
Like what?
And it's about 2 minutes long. It has Adafruit, it has you. And so I wanted to play this because we just did an edit to make sure it included everything.
Yep.
So take it away past us.
Go past me.
Hey, Lady Ada, what are you up to?
Oh, hey, Adabot. I was just programming my Circuit Playground.
Playground? That sounds like fun. What can you do with it?
You can do a lot with a Circuit Playground, like detect motion, measure temperature,
Brr, that is cold.
sense light, touch, and sound too.
Hello! La 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 la.
It even has a buzzer built in.
Wow, Circuit Playground can do lots of interesting things.
Yep, and the best part is you can combine all of these abilities to make really cool projects.
Like what kind of projects?
Like a tilt sensor, detect a heartbeat, a musical instrument, or even interactive games.
I won!
And those are just a few examples. Get creative and you can make pretty much anything you imagine.
Excellent. So how do you tell Circuit Playground what to do?
Easy. First, you write your code. Then, you upload that code to your Circuit Playground. You can choose how you want to write and upload the code. Circuit Playground works with Microsoft Make Code, Arduino-compatible IDEs, Code.org CS Discoveries, or CircuitPython.
This is awesome. I'm gonna go get started on my first project. Thanks.
Hey, I was using that.
Okay, time travel time.
You know, I never got that Circuit Playground back from Adabot.
Nope.
Just ran off with it.
That's what Adabot does.
Never saw it again.
Okay, well, we had the code Ruby Laser, and so I read this site, it's like science history, and today was happy birthday, Theodore Maiman, and...
So Ruby Laser.
Yeah, so I guess there's always controversy on who makes what
Dude,
nowadays.
every scientific thing
I know.
is
So Theodore Harold
controversy.
Maiman was an American physicist who built the first working laser. He began working with electronic devices in the teens while earning college money by repairing electronic appliances and radios. In the 1960s, he developed and demonstrated and patented a laser using a pink ruby medium. The laser is a device that produces monochromatic, coherent light. Light is which are rays of all the same wavelength and phase. The laser has since been applied in a wide range of uses, including eye surgery, dentistry, range finding, manufacturing, even the distance between the Earth and the Moon. Apparently, there's a book called The Laser Odyssey, which I've not read, but
He wrote it.
I was like, ooh, Laser Odyssey. Yeah. And anyways, check it out. And I have to do some more research.
Lasers were cool.
That's where that came from.
I'll tell you something. I took a class about electro-optoelectronics, like a organic optoelectronic, and how lasers work. And I swear, it's like the one class I still to this day do not understand a single thing that was taught.
Yeah.
Lasers are like really complicated. Like they're just like, oh, they like create coherent light, but how they do it makes absolutely no sense to me. There's like
there's a lot of mind benders. Like first you have to get over like, okay, it's a wave or it's a particle. Like what? Then you have to get over like it can bend.
There's a cavity and it's like a resonant cavity, but it's not a real physical cavity. It's like philosophical. I don't know.
Yeah, it's super freaky.
It's like the one thing I never quite understood. We had to do it a little bit for organic LEDs
quantum
too.
Mechanics is like that.
I got like a C in that class. I barely squeaked by.
So that's
lasers.
That's why that's the
a mystery.
Yeah. All right.
How do they work?
So also DNA Lounge. If you're in San Francisco, go to this. This is this Sunday, July 15th, 5 p.m. to midnight. They have robots that they make, robot friends that'll help you make
Get
drinks.
drunk, yeah. Come on.
Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Well, okay, sorry. Well, I mean,
Any
drunk on joy.
Any type of drinks, but they've
Drunk
been
on
doing
love.
this each year, and some of the prizes are gift certificates from Adafruit. Also, more in time travel. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., this is our DigiKey Hangout. So adafruit.it/DigiKey Discord. If you're on Discord right now, just show up tomorrow at 8 p.m. and DigiKey will be here with us. We had not only the president of DigiKey, we had the head of HR at DigiKey, we had all of the product managers and business managers, and so tomorrow I think we're going to talk about building some things, probably a feather.
Specking parts.
Yeah,
If you
and then
have
you're going to
parts-
do some
yeah.
part specking.
I'm going to actually use the site. If anybody out there has questions, like parts that you want me to spec for them, hey, I need an inductor like this or a chip that does that, come on by. I'll take live requests if we can get to as many as we can, and I'll show you how I use DigiKey to spec parts. It's by far the best search engine for finding and locating components. You need to know how to use it. Once you have that power, you can pretty much find anything you want to make your electronic dreams come true. We'll do that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so come on by.
All right. Other
Give away
news
some free stuff, too.
in time travel. I thought this was neat. So, thank goodness all those kids are okay. Thailand. I think the wild board soccer team has been taken out of the cave.
Evacuated.
They're safe. Kind of a worldwide effort that has a happy ending. This is the only good thing that's been on the news
I
recently.
know. People can't help it.
Yeah,
They love these stories.
So this was kind of neat. This is a bit of an open hardware project.
Yeah, and Star tweeted this. I saw it, retweeted it. We posted it on the blog as well. Thanks, Star, for... we're not on Facebook, so thanks for being on Facebook. But apparently they used a Hayphone, and it's an open hardware. It's a fully published...
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a cave radio. It's meant to use the radio in caves because it has different requirements.
It's like 57 kilohertz. I mean, it's incredibly... And you stake down the antenna extremely low frequency compared to what most makers use, 2.4 gigahertz. This is in the kilohertz range, and it can bounce around cave walls. It gets to make it through the water as well. So they use this to communicate. And if you click on documentation, the whole thing is published. I think this was published before we had the idea of open source hardware. I mean, it's published and it's free for anyone to use. It's kind of public domain. What's interesting is you can even tell from the website, it's kind of a 90s style website.
Yeah. In 2001, 50 Hayphones sets were issued to the UK cave rescue groups.
And then they brought them with them. The UK divers were the people who I guess they brought them.
Kilohertz, that's nuts. Okay.
Yeah, it's something incredible. I can't read, but it's something very, very low like that. Anyways, check that. I thought it was just so cool that there was a radio designed for cave rescue, and then it came in handy.
Yeah.
So good work. So I can't remember the name of the person, but the person designed it.
John Hay.
I think they passed away recently.
Let's see. Yeah, John Hay.
Yeah.
He just passed away 2016. But think about that, because the work was published, because this happened.
Because the work was published.
Lives were definitely saved.
Yeah, this is why open source hardware is so important. This is why it's important to publish stuff. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with the world. You could save like 14 lives with your open source design.
Yep.
What a cool story.
Okay, speaking of open source hardware, we're an open source hardware company. We have 1,509 guides. We'll show, Lady Ada will talk about these. We have a preview of another Zoetrope. And then you published kind of your philosophy on why you make Cricut. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
A little bit of a manifesto.
Okay, so we had a
what do we
bunch of
got this
guides,
week?
8 guides this week. Oh my goodness. We're just cranking through them. We have 2 mini golf course guides, one by Dano, one by JP. The Dano one has a loop-de-loop, a sweeper windmill, and then like a claw grabber. A little bit of a challenge, this mini golf course, but you know, you're at home and you can putt as much as you want. It has this really cool return spring as well, using a rainbow slinky. The hammer time uses a motor, and it hits a hammer that has a spring to keep it going up and down. You watch the GIF; it's kind of hard to explain. Also, a bit of a challenge because you get that timing just right. So between these two, hey, you're 1/4 of the way towards a full mini golf course. So you can make a really fun toy using Cricut. We have a small guide from Dan Halbert how to make a CircuitPython powered 3-minute nightlight. He needed a nightlight because he had some guests visiting, and he's like, wait, I've got a CircuitPython Gemma. I can just do it right now. And he made a really easy customizable nightlight. You can change the color and brightness. Well, from Richard Alberton, we've got the MIT App Inventor and Particle IO. It's kind of interesting. MIT App Inventor is a way to use drag and drop blocks to write code for Android. This is very interesting. You can only do it on Android. It doesn't work with iOS because Android is a much more open ecosystem. In this example, he shows how to interface with your Particle IO hardware to make Wi-Fi IoT devices that have an Android app. Again, something that normally would take like so long to do, because you've got App Inventor and Particle IO, it's only a couple hours project. Most of it's just soldering together everything and downloading the software. From John Park, we also have a stroboscopic Zoetrope. We showed you that video earlier. A fun, easy project, but what's interesting is when you go to a science museum, it's like one of like the exhibits. Like it actually can take, you know, normally building something like this would take weeks, but it's a 1 or 2 hour project using
Not even.
Cricut. Yeah, most of the time, again, is cutting out the cardboard and painting the faces. Got the Noe and Pedro's 3D Hangouts, the mount for Cricut. Make a sturdy mount so you can attach your Cricut board to tripods or whatever. I wrote up the Feather M4 Express guide, so if you have a Feather M4, now all that is documented. People have been asking for schematics and layouts. And the top secret AdaBox 08 guide. Secret, if you have an AdaBox 8, check that out. If you don't want to know what's in it yet, don't check it out. But it links to all the contents. We're going to have the unboxing video there. Don't forget the unboxing is on Friday. And also has my manifesto in it.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah. I did want to show, so here's just a quick, because we talked about the Zoetrope.
Yeah.
Dana, who's working on the next one, I wanted to show a preview. So this will be out soon.
Yeah.
But check it out.
Paper Zoetrope.
Okay. So on to Cricut.
Hi, Cricut.
Yeah, so we've talked about the big high-level topic of, like, let's make robot friends, like war robots taken care of, robots that shoot taken care of, battle bots taken care of.
Destructobots are covered.
Yeah, Terminators, done. Someone thought about this.
We have like 8 how many Terminators are there? 8, 12? Infinite?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is the
They
problem.
can keep going back.
They keep going to go back in time.
Going forward. So we've talked about that, and then we had different videos each week when we were working on some Cricut things, kind of cool examples, art robots, cardboard things, and then I don't know if I showed this last week.
No, this is a new video.
But this is the assembly video, so that's one of our cool videos for the week.
No, and Pedro did this awesome. Look at that. Oh, it's just so slick.
Yeah. And so we've been telling this story because one of the things that we wanted to make a point to discuss is, what is it like when you launch a robotics platform? What are the important things for the designer, the engineer,
Yeah.
for the folks who write the code, for the tutorial writers, for the video makers, for all the things that go into robotics? And so we covered all different pieces, but then you wrote up a portion.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked along the way about the hardware decisions, seesaw and the driver and the motor control and you know, using these bolts to attach the circuit playground, all the technical stuff we've talked about. And I finally had a chance, again, if you don't want to hear anything about AdaBox 8, cover your ears, go get a sandwich. You've been warned. But for AdaBox 8, we wanted to do a robot. And when we first came up with the idea, we actually thought of maybe making a little roving robot. We wanted to make a little two-wheeled robot that was maybe an octagon. And we kind of drew some ideas down, even started sort of designing the hardware. And then we actually talked to a bunch of people, including some folks from MakeCode. We talked to Carol Willing. She was on the show. People have seen her on the show from the Python Foundation. And she's just like really wise and like very good advice. So we talked to her about it and said, you know what? If you think about Python and robotics, what do you think? Do you think this little rover would be good, a little Python programmable rover? And she said, she actually was like, not, she was like, well, you know, there's a lot of those. Maybe do something that's cardboard robotics, maybe something that's low cost, easy, accessible. And that kind of kicked me out of thinking of the idea of having this two-wheeled bot. And it actually kind of made me think a little bit to my past. So in the manifesto, I talk about this, but when I was an undergrad at MIT, I took this class called 6270. Which was it's IAP class. It's a winter class where you build a robot. I had my friend Waz, who's been on the show. She was doing the robot with me and my friend Amitai. And we worked on this robot together, and it really sucked. It sucked because robotics at the time, I mean, this was 17 years ago, and it's not the fault of 6270 or the organizers. I want to make it clear. It's like nobody did anything wrong. It just, at that time and place, making robots was just terrible. I mean, it was like you had to build the gearbox yourself. You had to like solder all the wires onto like the connectors and like make your sensors, and you had to like learn how to program the thing called the handy board, and you had to build a battery charger. Like everything was just so complicated that it wasn't until week 3 you could actually work on your robot. Like you spent 2 or 3 weeks, and these are MIT people. I mean, we were like smart, right? Like I had to say it. Like we're MIT, we're like hardworking, we're smart, we know how to program. And even for us, it was like 20 to 30 hours of work before we could even get started thinking about how a robot would compete in this competition. And the joke that was made was, and everyone said this, if your robot would not break, it would probably win. Like winning didn't mean actually having a good technology or technique or programming. It was like, was your robot just consistent and wouldn't like die in the middle because the motors had to be calibrated by hand. So, if you look at the code for the robots, it was so simple because we didn't have time to actually develop any algorithms because we were spending all of our time just getting like the wheels to go straight. So, I think about this because it was really a traumatic experience for me. Like, and it really burned me out on robotics, and like robotics isn't fun. And so when I thought about this robot project, actually went back and looked at the robot board that we used to control this robot, and it's all in the manifesto. It's called the Handy Board. It was this Motorola HC 811 or something. It was this old, it had battery backup because there was no static RAM or flash at the time. You had to program it, and the program would live in RAM, and you'd have to keep it powered on and charged up. And there's another thing, if you like unplugged it battery died, the whole thing, you had to start all over. Programming was really unpleasant. You had to use like weird control cables. But as the Handy Board evolved, after I graduated, it became this other board called the Handy Cricket. And the Handy Cricket became the Pico Cricket, and the Pico Cricket became the Lego Mindstorms and the Lego We Do. And what I think was neat was the Handy Cricket was actually, for something that came out in 2002, it was a very forward-thinking robotics platform. It had kind of everything built in. You programmed it with Lego. It was designed to make, and it even says in the description, it was designed to make toys and simple animatronics that kids could build easily. It wasn't designed to be like a 4-wheeled robot tank. It wasn't designed to be a hexapod crawler. It was like, no, you want to make simple animatronics. So when we designed the AdaBox 8 Cricket, and the Cricket that we ended up putting in the store, I was really, the name Cricket comes from this Handy Cricket. It's inspired by this idea of making it as easy as possible to do very basic things. It is an advanced robotic controller. It can't be turned into a drone. But what it does do, it does well. The little things it does, and it does a little bit of everything. And enough to give you room to be creative, but enough constraints that you don't end up getting overwhelmed and designing a $200 or $300 robot. So I kind of wrote all these ideas out. I spent a couple hours over the weekend and wrote it out. And I think it's interesting because as engineers and designers, we have a lot of choices to make. When we design hardware, it's very easy to make things expensive and to add more and to like make it, more advanced and more impressive because that's what we think impresses other engineers. Oh, like check out my super sweet like buck converter. Like I totally hand spec'd everything and it's like tuned. Or like, oh, like I added a Kalman filter like for the motor control. But is that something that's actually useful and important? For some cases, yes. But for this case, to make robot friends, to get people introduced into robotics, that wasn't it, right? I mean, like, we can always add that stuff later. Later on, at first I didn't even support stepper motors, and then we added stepper motor support afterwards. It doesn't support optical encoders, but you know what? We can do that later if we want to. Getting the basics solid so that it's a friendly, like, enjoyable experience, I think is the most important. I think a lot of people who do robotics struggle with this. I think there is this pull towards, I want to make like an $800 humanoid robot, or I want to make a drone. Those are extremely cool. I love those things. They're awesome. But
if you're a beginner, they're not enjoyable.
If you're a beginner, they're just
especially
terrifying.
if it's like, hey, good luck. After years, maybe you can have something move. So I think the culmination of that approach and the experiences that 5 minutes that you get with some microcontroller stuff and programming sometimes, where it's like, wow, in 5 minutes, like I was able to kind of get something going.
Yeah, like Sophie on the show and tell. She's like, I've never done anything that moves. I'm terrified of it. She didn't say terrified. She's like, I'm not.
Yeah, but you get to use cardboard.
But she's like, oh, I just use some
because
cardboard.
It's basically disposable, and you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that $500 robot arm, or like all that precision that if you make one mistake, you're breaking something.
Right.
Kind of like what you said. The goal was for it to not break. That's what would win. So
Yeah,
here's
because these robots are so complicated.
so here's a preview of just, I think this is the example. So we're gonna have this guide out soon, and it's the Hello World for robotics. So imagine
Hello World.
Imagine if you only had 5 minutes, could you have a robot wave and say Hello World?
Yeah.
And yes, it doesn't even take 5 minutes. So that's what you can do with Cricut. So I'm just gonna play it.
Just play it
13 seconds. The video is longer than how long it
so
takes,
fast.
Yeah.
Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, world.
So anyways, so that's thanks for talking about that, because you never get to hear that. I mean,
No,
usually
it's everyone. It's easier to talk about like how I spec the. I talked on the hack chat about how I spec the motor drivers or whatever. But the philosophy behind something, it's tougher because again, as an engineer, you want to make something impressive, but sometimes like the ego death, just saying like maybe I don't have to do the most technically impressive thing, is the best thing for the people who actually are going to use it.
I think working back from with a robotics platform with the idea of, wow, in 5 minutes it'd be cool if someone could make a robot. Like, I've just not seen any robotics platform say that. Like, there's never been the, okay, you only have 5 minutes to get started, and maybe 20 minutes in a classroom setting. Maybe someone's never used motors at all, and it could be low cost and fast. Like, you never start with that with robotics. It's like,
I've never seen
it's like,
it, yeah.
let me get the most expensive, craziest thing ever, and let me try to like come up with every possible scenario, and then, oh, by the way, it doesn't work.
And trying to make it all inexpensive too. So many robots are just so expensive. I mean, like, I love the Lego Mindstorms, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's a couple $100s. You
And,
know, like it's great quality. You're getting your money's worth, but it's like a lot of kids can't afford that.
And someone said this in the chat, it's like, it's about momentum. So once you get started with motors and servos and solenoids and lights, if you have momentum, you can keep doing projects, and you might never stop. Because you
get
never
the confidence,
you never hit
yeah.
the, maybe there'll be speed bumps, but you don't hit walls. And
Right.
and that's the difference, I think. And good work. And like I said, we didn't time it, but CircuitPython 3.0, Cricut, Mu, all this stuff is
And CircuitPython is essential for this.
yeah.
So many of the projects, you actually can't do robotics if you have to go through a compile cycle. I hated it with the handy board. It was so long and tedious, but you're constantly tweaking numbers. adjusting calibrations. Doing that in CircuitPython is trivial. You just save and you're done, and it runs in 2 seconds. If you have to compile and re-upload each time, and like you're not even sure you're running, sometimes the compile and upload fails. You're not even running the version you think you're running. Yeah. So I think this is a really good time. So I'm glad it's more in detail, of course, on the webpage. So check that out. But that's my manifesto.
All right. Next up, we have some factory footage and more.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it. This is where we make the crickets.
Yeah.
This is cutting out some things with chipboard.
Laser cutters are great.
Yeah.
Gotta just make sure you watch them.
Yeah, never leave them alone.
Never ever leave them alone.
And then this is etching of wood. Other factory footage we have. This is some selective. Sorry, this is the
putting
solder
the paste
paste
down. Time for the stenciler.
And then
looks like a LSM 9DS0. Something break out there. Go, 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 go. Now it's doing the optical inspection to align the stencil to the PCB, and it's stenciling. Look at that bead. That's called the bead.
Yeah.
Nice bead.
And that's for a feather wing. You can tell because it says
relay feather wing.
Relay feather wing. That's
and then it goes back, do another pass, and it's done. Nice work, stencil buddy.
Yep.
And does an optical inspection again, make sure that the paste all got released.
And then this is a close-up of some LEDs with the flame effect. This video is 8 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that gives you a close-up view of what it looks like on our little matrix that we have. With
yeah,
these
how did you get that footage? Is it
I think that they used the microscope
for
this. Next up, here is some...
Extruding.
Yeah, it's like 3D printing. And
it's 3D printing spaghetti.
Yeah.
Or a bird nest.
Yeah. And then here's what the pick and place is. Fall asleep to every single...
Good night, pick and place.
Night.
Good night, New York.
That's right outside the window here. Okay, 3D printing. We have one speed up video this week. This is a rotisserie marshmallow.
What?
Holder. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Take it away, Noah Pedro.
It's summertime.
Okay, and don't forget every Wednesday, 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. Programming note this Friday at 9 p.m. If you have an AdaBox, don't forget to tune in. JP will be doing the unboxing.
Or maybe you want to be jealous about what you missed in this AdaBox.
That's right.
Ooh.
Well, you can always sign up for the next one.
That's true.
We'll be taking new subscribers soon. There's a cutoff. There always is. So far, we've maxed out each time. So
I know,
if you don't sign up...
And sometimes people email us and they're like, hey, I waited till the last minute and I ran out and that's it.
Okay. So that's on Friday. So don't forget the code is Relaser. Lady Ada, it's new product time. All right, let's do this. What pins we got? We've been putting these in the store.
We got Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity, hacking that IoT. Nimbus is GDPR compliant. Nimbus doesn't sell your data out. Nimbus keeps it safe in the cloud, and is so happy. Our little mascot for our IoT service, Adafruit IO. Show your IoT pride. A little Nimbus character.
Okay.
When we're out, we're out.
Yeah. Next up.
We also have a Blinka eating her own tail. Python is kind of interesting. Python has this ability to interpret its own code. So this is sort of like the philosophical philosopher's stone eval. The REPL, the E in the REPL is for eval. It can evaluate itself. So maybe you're into that. Maybe you like to make self-perpetuating code. You should get this pin.
Okay, next up.
Okay, you have a whole bunch of stuff from Pimoroni. So if you have a microbit and you want to add more hardware to it, you're in luck. Okay, we're going to start off with the EnviroBit. This has a sound sensor, a light and color sensor, and a humidity or barometric pressure temperature sensor on the back. And there's make code for it, so you can drag and drop blocks. They also have MicroPython code for it. You just snap your microbit in. You can even show it off on the overhead. It goes like this, and you just snap it right in, and boom, you're done. Oops, sorry. Boom, you're done. Super easy. Snaps in place, you can mount it. And yeah, it's got a air quality sensor, weather station, collapse sensor, color sorter, intruder detector, nightlight, or some ideas. Here's the sensors. A beautiful silk screen as always, and works great with your microbit. So a really nice add-on for all you microbit folks out there. Oh my goodness, sorry, I put this on upside down. Don't worry, it won't break if you put it upside down, but you should put it on with the LEDs facing up. So that's the first thing from Pimoroni we have, this weather bit, EnviroBit.
Okie dokie. What else we got?
But we're not done.
No.
We also have the LED shim. This adds, I think, 28 RGB LEDs with an I2C LED driver. What's most interesting about this design is its press fit. Now, I will warn you, if you've used your Raspberry Pi a bunch and you've kind of bent the pins a little bit, they might not press fit so well, in which case you would want to solder on headers or solder it directly to your Raspberry Pi. But if you have a new Raspberry Pi, it does press fit quite nicely, and we have a demo of it here. So you can see it just snaps right on, and you've got all these LEDs, and if I unplug it, it'll stop working, so I don't want to do that quite yet. And the LEDs kind of stick out, so you can put hats on top, and this can be a little like a bar graph display, or use it to show off, you know, how much disk space is being used with the little range, or just show off some really cool colors. It all happens over I2C, so it's really easy. They have example code in Python for you, ready to go. It's just really cool. You just snap fit it on, and just press fits right onto your Raspberry Pi. Works with any Raspberry Pi with a 2x20 connector. So your Pi 0 or 0W, 3, B+, B2, whatever, all those are good. Just the original Raspberry Pi 1, it won't work because it won't fit on.
Okay. Next up.
More microbit stuff. The third thing we got from them is this pin bit. Super simple. You plug in your microbit, and then you plug into a breadboard, and then you can attach all sorts of stuff. So you can make breadboard-friendly projects. So you can show this off as well. Same deal, comes fully assembled, comes with this little plug on. You plug this in, you snap it in, and then let me grab this power supply, plug it in, and boom, wow, NeoPixels are working. So make code running on this to light up these NeoPixels. Maybe you don't want to use alligator clips, maybe you want more components, maybe you just want to do a lot of breadboarding. We've got nice little labels here. It's compact and easy to use, super simple. So that's the pin bit. So it's the third item, and another great microbit accessory.
All right, next up. I like this one a lot.
This is super simple, but boy is it effective. You have a DC motor, like one of these like 130 size motors. It's like, I think about 20 millimeters diameter. And you're like, how do I mount it onto something? Because you can't really. It's really hard to mount these. There's no mounting tabs and mounting holes. But I found this little plastic widget, super simple, designed exactly for this. The motor press fits in. It holds it very solidly. There's a hole in the bottom, so you can attach it very easily to whatever you may want. And that's it. I mean, like it will push out, like if you really bump it. But for just holding it solid, it works great. And
great for any robotics project where you just need to have a fan.
A fan, or you want this to pull something, and you just want to attach it without having to get like a bunch of hot glue or like, and then that stuff doesn't really work long term anyways. This is solid attachment. It also works with full solid mode. It doesn't have to be the motors that have these. Some of them don't have these notches. Some of them are fully round. If it's about 20 to 25 millimeters, it'll be fine. Use an M4 screw over here. It's even countersunk a little bit, so that's really nice. So it won't get in the way if you have a fully round motor. And yeah, 20 radius 20 millimeter. We're trying to get the best, easiest robotics parts in. So this solves one of the bigger problems we've had, which is how do you attach that thing?
Yeah.
Now you can attach that thing.
And the other technique I've seen and used is like you wrap it with like masking tape and then hot glue it, so you can kind of get it off later. But it's like like that's not.
You can do it, but this works
this
way
works
better.
way better. Okay.
And they're super cheap.
Next up, AdaBox sticker. AdaBot sticker.
We have an AdaBot sticker. This AdaBot head sticker is super fun.
People asked for it, so we have it.
It's about 2 by 2.5 inches. It's shown on the overhead.
Yep.
It's a vinyl sticker. It's die cut, so you can peel it off, and it's vinyl, so it'll last a very long time. Great for putting on your laptop or your books.
Yep.
Or your Kindle or your, I don't know, whatever you want, your robot.
Whatever's.
This also is one of the things we included in AdaBox 8, but they were just so cute, we had to have them for the store. So
Yep.
pick up a little AdaBot. Hi.
Okay. And star of the show tonight, besides the community and Our Lady here, the engineer, is this. You will like this.
Yeah. So let me explain why this is good.
This is good.
So ink displays, you've seen ink displays or in your Kindle or in your Nook. You've seen them maybe in some stores. They have them as price displays. This is a 1.5 inch display. Yeah. I'll turn this upside down. So you can watch it refresh while I talk. This is a tricolor display. It has black ink and red ink. So you can do just black if you want, you can do just red if you want, but you can also have things that are both black and red. This is the background color, which is kind of a whitish color. It's just going through a cycle of erasing and then redrawing. So in a moment it'll redraw, and you'll see it does the inversion, it erases, it has to do this kind of pulse on and off. So it doesn't instantly update. It does take a few seconds to do an update, but this is the best way to get the nicest quality color. You'll see the red is really nice and sharp and the black is really nice and sharp. It's 150 pixels by 150 pixels. So you're thinking, I can buy these anywhere, what's the big deal? You're not the first one to do ink. Yeah, but I actually solved the problem that nobody else did, which is I put some SRAM on it. And the code we wrote, if you do the math, in order to buffer this display of 150 by 150 pixels with black and white, you need 6K of RAM. Because these displays, you can't read back from the frame buffer. You have to write the entire buffer all at once. That's just how e-ink drivers work. So for a lot of these e-inks, either like you can only display straight from an SD card, so you have an image. You can't actually draw text or lines or circles or squares. You can't use it as a display. You can only blit or push the entire display at once. We put SRAM on the back of this chip here. It's about 8K of SRAM, maybe it's 16, I don't remember. So you can have a frame buffer. You have a double buffer here that you can work with, and it's SRAM, so it's super fast. Use that for drawing out what you want to have it display, and then our code will take the SPI data from the SRAM and push it to the display for you when you ask it to, so you don't have to use any of your carefully managed microcontroller memory. Especially on something like an Arduino Uno compatible, or even something like an M0. You have 32K, but why spend a quarter of it on buffering your frame buffer? So the RAM on the back is really nice. It makes it so you can actually use this at a reasonable speed and display anything you want: text, images, graphics, interfaces, barcodes, QR codes, whatever you want. You can design those and have those buffered.
What type of code examples do you have?
At this time, we have Arduino code. We're polishing up the CircuitPython code, and the CircuitPython code will, from people who watched from the last week, will run on Raspberry Pi as well as our CircuitPython.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, we just want to make sure we want to just tighten up the CircuitPython code, make some fixes that make it more compatible with 3.0, since we wrote this code originally in 2.0 and we have to just update it. But we will have CircuitPython code as well.
Okay.
One thing I do want to mention, you have to update these once a day or you get a little bit of a pinky effect, so that you can see this a little bit pinker. That's because I haven't refreshed this one in like a couple days. So you want to refresh these about one a day to keep that nice crisp white background. But yeah, you can basically update them every 2 minutes. That's the specification. Many thousands of times, and display anything you want, 150 by 150 pixels. This is our first e-ink display. We're going to do a couple more once we get our code base going. But I think we finally come up with something really cool here. I think that the SRAM and then having a micro SD socket for displaying images.
And what's neat is, like, you know, for the folks who've just seen these for the first time, like, you know, it's not plugged into anything. It's it's just working.
Hi.
Yep.
And for ultra low power usage, the regulator that controls everything has an enable pin. You can completely disable all power. So for ultra low power mode, I know that the e-ink is like low power, but you can shut down the SRAM, you can shut down the micro SD card, you can shut down the level shifter. For people who are like, no, I really want it to be as low power as possible, that is totally possible.
Okay. And with that is new products.
Yes. New.
Okay. Recap.
Yeah. New. We got this IoT, Nimbus the Friendly Cloud Entity, show your IoT pride with Nimbus. You also have an Uberos Blinka. She evaluates her own code and eats her own tail. We have a limited number of these, so pick them up. If you have a microbit and you want to add weather, humidity, temperature, light, color, sound sensing, this EnviroBit from Pimoroni has make code and MicroPython code available for your microbit, super easy. The LED shim adds over 25 RGB LEDs to your Raspberry Pi, and it plugs right on. You don't even have to solder it. It shims right on, so look at this beautiful rainbow. Add that to your Raspberry Pi. You also have a pin bit. Break out all the pins to your microbit for breadboarding, like you want to wire up some NeoPixels, some LEDs, some sensors. You can plug this into your microbit for easy breadboarding. If you have a DC motor that's 130 size, this mount will make it really easy to put in your project. It has a hole for an M40 screw. Just snap in your size 130 DC motor. We have a vinyl sticker with 8-dot head on it, about 2 by 2¼ inches. This high quality vinyl sticker will keep you a robot friend for life. E-ink. We have a tricolor 1.5 inch diagonal e-ink display, and it comes with SRAM on it, so you can use it with any microcontroller. All the frame buffering you need to do, it happens on the board itself. Great for when you want to display anything, basically any kind of image, text, graphics, without using all that RAM on your microcontroller to buffer the display. So great for any kind of microcontroller. Code and Arduino and CircuitPython coming soon.
Okay, that was a recap. Good work. Don't forget, code is Ruby Laser. You have a top secret, then we're going to answer some questions. Lady Ada, this is the vault. It opens up.
Open the vault.
What's your top secret this week? Oh, that looks like a microbit cricket.
What? I'm not saying what it is.
That's what it looks like, then.
It's top secret, don't ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means...
That's what it is.
That means, like, if you have a microbit, you could probably easily do robotics then, too.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Not out yet. Don't ask.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it looks like.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
And that's all I'm saying about it.
All right.
You can't trick me into talking about it some more.
No, I won't do that.
Don't even try.
Okay, that was a top secret.
Not gonna happen.
Back in the vault.
Back in the vault with you.
Okay, let's go answer some questions. If you're on Discord, which that's where you should be if you want to ask questions, adafruit.it/discord. That's where you can start typing them now. We'll do around
Ask
questions.
me questions, except for the thing that's not.
Yeah, except for the micro thing, so you can't do that one. And we'll get to them, and then we'll give some away. So let's see. Folks are typing in a bunch of stuff, so we'll wait till they get there. Let's see. I think we showed we had a coming soon. I think we showed that there's a Raspberry Pi one.
There's a Raspberry Pi hat.
Yeah, we can't talk about that, but because we've shown that in the past. Yes, there is.
There's one.
There's one in the works.
It's behind this. It's not out yet. I have to do one thing at a time. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to clone myself yet. I'm working on it. But till then.
Regarding that e-ink board, holding in image for 2 days, totally unpowered right now?
It's totally fine. It's just you'll notice it gets a little pink because the red ink slowly seeps in. It can be unpowered, but for the best look, we suggest refreshing once a day if you want to keep that crisp white background.
Okay. Let's see.
I mean, you'll keep the image forever, like basically.
Are round and octagon PCB shapes more challenging to do than rectangle design? What happens to all the PCB waste? The pieces
Yeah,
off
there
the side.
is space that's routed out.
Octagon's not as bad.
Octagon isn't so bad because there's
Yeah.
only a little, it's not so much. But round PCBs, yeah, it's tough because they have to route out the shape, and I don't, there's some recycling that's done for it, but it's best if you can make perfectly square shapes that are tiled. That's great, but there always has to be some PCB material that holds it in place, so it's never 100%.
Okay. The CircuitPython shirts. Oh, we're just making these, but here's the cool thing.
Make it with a Cricut.
Yeah, you can the Cricut, the
Cricut
cut.
cut.
Yeah. So we in our awesome list, the CircuitPython awesome list, we link to our CircuitPython art folder. You can make your own. We're kind of encouraging people to do stuff like that. Like, we don't make Adafruit shirts because then it's like everybody starts throwing everything on logos, but like people have made their own.
Make your
That's a little
own,
bit more
yeah.
special, we think. Like, what do you bring?
This is
to
just
the
an
table?
iron-on.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, make your own.
Let's see. Are we going to stock the pie juice hat?
I think I have some samples. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
When it's in the store, you'll know
Yeah,
if we have something.
we usually have to do lots of sampling
We
and
have to do
testing.
a lot of testing.
So if and when it's in the store, we decide to stock it. Let's see. Yeah, Hexagon does tile. That's right. Let's see. Any new feathers on the horizon?
Yeah, because I previewed it before, there is a M4 can feather that uses the SAM E51. You have to get the can driver going, but it's a simple adaptation of the feather M4. But the feather M4 just came out. Like, we just released one very recently. And of course, the particle feathers. There's 3 feathers coming from particle with the NRF52, 840, Wi-Fi, and cellular. So, there's always feathers coming. And then, of course, we just released the Cricut feather wing as well. And there's more feather wings coming down the pipe real soon.
Okay, not a question, but just thanks for creating accessible robotics with an ecosystem with Cricut. Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
We
hey.
worked really hard on
Yay.
it.
I'm glad it worked out.
That hurt.
It really hurt.
Yeah, we did it. Just like kind of. There's a lot of love that went.
Believe me, doing a 2-wheeled rover bot would have been like way easier. Like, following a line is like super easy compared to this.
Yeah, we took the hard path to make things so easy. Okay, is there any timetable for CircuitPython with working with Bluefruit LE?
We do have the NRF52 840 Bluetooth Bluefruit in development. That's the best way of doing it because it's native. Join in CircuitPython. It's in discussion. It's currently being worked on and merged. You can get it working with your NRF52 832. The 840, of course, the chip is not really available yet so much. There will, of course, be a feather for that. If you're really interested in Bluefruit LE and you're wanting to use it with CircuitPython, subscribe to the newsletter, show up on the Discord for the weekly meetings, and you can be part of the community. Try it out.
It's code plus community. You'll see real time.
Now's
a good time to jump in.
It's stable enough that I feel like people can join in on beta testing, and your feedback will be helpful to make sure that we get everything you want going on it.
Can the GPIO from a Cricut drive something like a display?
The I2C, yeah, but the GPIO on the Cricut, it's not high speed because it's going through I2C. So what I would recommend is, if you're using the feather with the Cricut, you put like a display feather wing on top, like an OLED feather wing on top of it, and then have the feather control both the Cricut and the display. Just because the Cricut's good for robotics, I didn't design it to be like a display driver. But you can stack wings on the Cricut feather wing. So just put an OLED display on top.
And another person kind of, I think we hit the mark on this because someone's, this is Manable says, making servos and sensors so accessible, it's a wonderful big step forward, just like those Atmel boards were so long ago. It's true. It's like what happened with microcontrollers and Arduino got like physical computing to the next level, and then there was this entire thing that happened. And robotics, it just didn't happen yet, and we think this is it. Like,
no, for some reason,
sensors and servos.
Everyone just kept making
Yeah.
the same rover. And these rovers are, don't get me wrong, I stock them. We stock the Bobot, we stock the Mbot. They're great, but they're so limited. It's just a robot that rolls, and that's all it does.
When we talk to educators, there's always that like box of robot stuff that they bought and no one uses it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got this chassis thing, and like, yeah, we did like one project, not really.
And
didn't work
only
out.
like one kid can use
Couldn't
it.
download the software for it. The code was too hard. Blah blah blah. So.
And then, and the projects that you do with them are so limited. It's just like you do what's in the booklet, and then there's not really anything else you can do.
Let's see. With how much savings are in Adabox, how do they stay profitable? Are they profitable? Our free shipping is so great. So it's always a balance. We jam as much as we can. We try to run it so we don't run out of money. But yeah, it's tough. This is why I don't know any other subscription service that's privately held that doesn't have VC or loans. Like
We also have our partners that will help
we have
us a lot.
partners that help us out with, and we've managed to do a pretty good job. So please keep subscribing. We do have a set number that we try to hit. So thank you for subscribing. That still helps us out the most.
And
share with your friends.
thank DigiKey, who has helped support us and sponsoring a lot of the parts. They helped a lot with Adabox. They've helped with all the Adaboxes, of course.
They've been our launch partner, and you can get a Cricut off the DigiKey site right now.
Yep.
They're only reseller at this time. Okay, let's give some away. What do you want to give away, Lady Anna?
We're going to give away one of these e-ink displays.
That's a nice thing. Okay, how do we do this trivia thing? What are the rules?
The rules, how do we do it? I don't remember. First person to call the phone number when we put up on the screen, answer 3 magic questions is the winner. Only one winner per my lifetime. If you won something on this show, you can't win again. But you can win on other shows, like the Discord tomorrow. So if you want to win again, you can tune in tomorrow and you can win on that show. I'm going to ask you your name, where you're calling from, and a project you're working on or you want to work on. If you answer those 3 questions, you win e-ink.
Okay.
When you pick up the
All
phone,
you have to do is call that number.
please turn down your audio. That really helps.
Yeah,
It
that
can
helps.
confuse people. So call this number. I'm going to ask you your name, where you're calling from, project you're working on or you want to work on.
Ring, 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 telephone.
Telephone.
There's always a delay, but
That's fine.
oh, there is. People got it. Okay, Lady Anna. Pick up the phone.
Second ring.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, you reached Ask Engineer and you're the winner. Congratulations.
Wow, thanks.
Wow, what's your name and where you calling from?
My name's Gordy. I'm calling from Toronto,
Ooh, Canada. That's cool.
and you're counting the second ring, and you just answered me.
Congratulations.
You want an e-ink
You
display.
want an e-ink display. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and say, hey,
Great.
it's Gordon from Toronto, and I want a 3625, and they'll send you one. What's a project you're working on?
3625.
Yeah.
I'm working on a replacement thermostat for my air conditioner to replace the bimetallic strip, which has got incredible hysteresis lately.
Okay, well, maybe this e-ink display
And of
will
course,
come
I'm
in
going to IoT
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Pay
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, if you're getting in there, why not? All right, well, congratulations on winning the prize. Email support@adafruit, and we'll get that to you. And when you
Great.
finish your IoT thermostat, come on by show and tell. We'd love to see what you got working.
Sure will.
Awesome. Thank you, Gordon. Have
Thanks
a
a
great
lot.
night.
You too.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Thanks, Gordon from Toronto.
Does
I think our first Canadian.
does Kenneth have better phone systems?
Yes. This sounded great. This is like so crisp.
Why did that sound so good?
I don't know. Weird. Because he's not calling from a cell phone, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Gordon from Toronto. Thank you, Canada. Our neighbors to the north.
Yep. Okay, well, that's the show for tonight. Don't forget the code is Movie Laser, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us. There's some of the people that you will be supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And they thank you. Special thanks to our community out there on Discord, all the Adafruit team members, remote and here. Thanks for another epic week. And, of course, thanks for another good show. We'll keep doing this because y'all are making it happen. We'll be
Pick
back
up some
next
stuff
week.
from the Adafruit shop.
Yeah, we'll be back
10%
next
off.
week, 8 p.m. as usual. Show and tell. 7:30 next week. Don't forget tomorrow JP, and then on Friday Adabox unboxing.
And Discord tomorrow, DigiKey. Come
Yep.
on by. We're going to have a good time. We're going to spec some parts, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep. That's
So
tomorrow night.
why even do anything else with your life? Just watch Adafruit all the time.
Adafruit channel,
There's always something going on.
Adafruit News Network.
Beaming straight into your brain. Believe me, it's better than the real news. So.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
We're
so
having-
much
we're having a good time
all
here.
the time. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Here's your moment of Zener.